Welcome to Monetizing Purpose, where we pursue purpose, earning a living, doing what we love. You know, for the past couple of days or months, I've been thinking about burnout. Burnout. You know, particularly amongst the social media influencers, you know, on YouTube and all these other platforms. It seems like it's gotten to a point where everyone is burning out. And I don't know if my generalization is good or what. But I have come to this conclusion that the main reason for people burning out on social media is that people are no longer doing things that they love so they can get views. People are no longer posting content that they enjoy making because they want the views and they want to get sponsorship. You know, it's very hard in every negotiation that you go into. If you ever get desperate in any negotiation, you don't have any power over the outcome of that particular negotiation. When you go into a business deal negotiation, if you are too desperate for the business deal, you don't have any power in the negotiation. If you are going to go on social media and you are desperate for likes, you are desperate for subscribers, you are desperate for comments, for retweets, or whatever metric it is that the algorithms need to make you famous, you've got no power. You've got no power because now the things that you are doing and the things that you've started to do, they no longer make you happy. They no longer make you feel excited. Then 2 months of consistency, you realize that, I don't like the person I've become. I don't like the man or woman that I've become. You know, I've done 100 YouTube videos, but I'm no longer happy with myself. I'm no longer happy in my marriage. I'm no longer happy with the relationship that I have with my children. Only to realize that you've been doing things that made you unhappy so that you would go viral. Hey, imagine if you may, living your whole life or spending 20 or 30 years of your life, 30 years of your life, doing things that didn't bring you any joy, doing things that didn't give you any happiness whatsoever, so that you would go viral. Then you realize that, yes, I've gone viral, but I've been the unhappiest. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that these days, the people who are killing themselves are the youth. It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that the people who are experiencing a lot of depression, it's the youth. It's no coincidence. Why? Because we've gotten addicted to doing things that don't bring us joy for likes and comments. We've gotten addicted to doing things that we don't enjoy so that the algorithms will make us popular. Hey! I don't like this. And I had to catch myself. When I realized that I no longer enjoyed the process of creating a podcast, because, you know, I'm constantly looking for what word would make me go viral, what word or what tagline and what would make this podcast get so many views and all those other nonsenses. And I've realized that I've lost the purpose. The purpose has never been about going viral. Yes, when I started, you know, when you get this social media advice and all those social media nonsenses that we tend to buy into, you end up thinking that, no, the goal or the purpose of a podcast or a business For me, in this case, when I started the podcast, the goal was that it was going to make me succeed in business. But then again, I realized that a majority of my success in my business is not aligned with my podcast. It's rarely have I ever gotten a client who said, you know what, I got exposed to you because of the podcast. Then that's why you find that sometimes I wouldn't be creating content for the podcast. Because when I realized the return on my investment, because I spent lots of money building this state-of-the-art platform that I've got here. But only to realize that it's not bringing me the return on my investment. And as a mathematician, as a thinker, I'm tempted to never do anything that does not give me a return on my investment. But as I looked back at the purpose of the podcast now, why am I doing this? Well, number one, it's not for the views, the likes, or the comments. I don't care. Whether I get one view or not, I don't care. But what I really realized and I enjoyed the most was that when I reevaluated the purpose of the podcast, I realized that 10 years down the line, maybe 15 years down the line, or 100 years down the line, when my children, my grandchildren, when my great-grandchildren, or whoever the generation might be at the time when they get to find this podcast, the purpose now for this podcast is not to appease the algorithms or to go viral. I don't care about that. But the purpose now for this podcast, monetizing purpose, is one day when my children or my great-grandchildren or whoever the generation might be at the time, when they look for what did our father, what did our grandfather, what did our great-great-grandfather or whomever I might be to them at the time, what are the lessons that they learned in life? We never got a chance to sit with him. We've heard of how great of a man he was. We've heard about the impact that he made in humanity. But we are never going to get the chance to sit with him and ask him the questions that the generation that he was alive in, they had a chance to ask him. I want them to, when they go out, whatever the medium might be at the time, to go and look for a history of their father, to go and look for a history of their great-grandfather, or whatever the generation might be at the time. When they go out on social media, or whatever the platform might be at the time, whether it's AI or whatever the case might be, when they go online and then they are saying that, hey, you know what, I'm having this challenge in life, man. I want to hear the advice that my great-grandfather gave his generation at the time. I want to hear the advice that my father gave to his generation at the time. And I want this podcast to be that platform where my children, my great-grandchildren, and whatever the generation might be at the time who will be listening to this podcast many years in the future, to say that, you know what, I got to know my grandfather by listening to the Monetizing Purpose podcast, because I got to meet my grandfather, or I got to meet my father at different stages in his life. When he was desperate for likes, comments, and approval of other people, I got to meet him and I got to hear his mind, his thoughts, and his thinking at that time. But I've watched him, or I've listened to him evolve. And the thoughts that his evolution from that time when he was desperate to get a platform to where he no longer cared, he's grown so much. And these are the lessons that I'm learning from my father. These are the lessons that I'm learning from my grandfather. And yeah, I don't want to live my life, or to live this I don't know if I should call it a generation or what, but to live this phase of my life for the likes, for the comments, and for virality. I don't care, man. whether I go viral or not, the most important thing is that when my son, when my daughter, when my great-grandchildren come and they are saying, we are looking for history of who was our father, who was our great-great-grandfather, who was Ebenezer, who was King Ebi. When they find the podcast, they'll get to know me. That's my goal from this point onwards. And so if I offend you by talking about God or by having topics that you don't agree with, man, I don't care, man. If I offend you by my views about God, I don't care, man. If I offend you with the beliefs that I have, I don't care, man. Whether you unsubscribe, I don't care, man. I'm going to take and do this podcast in a way that makes me happy, man. If that means talking about mathematics, I'm going to do and enjoy that podcast. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with I don't care, man. I'm sick of doing things to make algorithms happy, man. I'm sick of doing things that make people happy and only to find out that they don't care, man. I'm sick of it, man. And frankly, I'm sick of you and trying to get your approval, man. I don't care, man. Whether you leave or not, man. Whether you unsubscribe. I don't care, man. I don't care. And I've come to this is the realization that I had. As hard as 2020 has been as a year, man, being involved in car accidents and nearly dying multiple times. As I've sat down with myself by myself to reflect on my life, the couple of moments where I nearly died, when I reflected on those moments, if I died, I wouldn't care what you thought of me. If I died, I wouldn't care what you thought about the content that I posted on social media. Frankly, I wouldn't even care what your thoughts about me or my life or my existence was. And I've come to the conclusion that the person whose opinion that I value the most is, number one, me and my happiness. If whatever it is that I do makes me happy and it doesn't make you happy, it pisses you off, well, good riddance, man. I'm happy with myself. As long as I can go to bed at night knowing that I lived the best version of me today, that's the first person I want to make happy, man. Not algorithms. And number two, the second person I want to make happy is God, man. It's God, man. Even though this year, man, and the hardships and the rough of this year, even though I've had those moments and I'm like, God, but God, man, you are not fair in these cases. But God, why won't you give me some slack, nyana? Give me some time off, nyana, man, and let life stop whooping me and my ass so bad, man. Give me a chance, Lord. Even though I've had those moments, but I'm happy, man. The person that I want to make happy is my Creator, man. If however many years from now on that I'm gonna die, I don't want to. When the time comes and I don't know who the secretary might be or who might be in charge of that register, when they pull out my file and they be like, "Hey, nigga," and they be like, "Hey, boss, hey, King Ebi, wow, what a life you lived, man. What a life you lived, man, there on the planet, man. You made the impact that you were supposed to make. But at these years or at these stages or phases of your life, what were you thinking there, man? You could have achieved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you didn't achieve 1, 2, 3, 5 because you were so busy with this. That didn't matter. I have come to the conclusion. This is my conclusion. If you're going to stop listening to this podcast, let this be the conclusion that you come out of this. Majority of the things that we think matter about our lives, the things or the people that we think we matter to on social media, we don't. You don't matter, man. The only people who really care about you and who you really matter is your family and your loved ones. For the rest of us, Nah. We don't care. Whether check this out. Die tomorrow and see if we still care about you or your memory after 5 days. We don't care. But the people who really do care about you, your existence, are those people that you are neglecting to make content for social media. Those children of yours that you are neglecting spending time with so you can make content for social media. Those children that you are neglecting the things that make them happy so that you can take pictures of and post on social media. Those are the people who will care the most about you. If you died tomorrow, that son or that daughter of yours that you are ignoring, and the needs, the emotional needs, the psychological needs that they have, the need for a parent, the need for validation from that child of yours that you are ignoring for likes, comments, views, and virality on social media, the one whose happiness you are sacrificing so that you can go viral on social media, that is the person who will miss you if you drop dead today or tonight. That's the person who will cry for you tomorrow for the rest of their life. The rest of us, we wouldn't care. We wouldn't care about you. We wouldn't even know where your grave is. We wouldn't care. We wouldn't care how you died or the legacy that you... We wouldn't care about anything about you and your existence. And that's a harsh pill. That's a harsh pill I want you to swallow today. That's the truth of life. But the people whose happiness, the happiness that you are sacrificing to get likes, to go viral for. The first person, yourself, you are sacrificing your own happiness. You are doing things that make you miserable so that you get likes and comments. You are doing things that make you feel depressed, have a lot of anxiety, that make you not have a life of your own so that you could go viral. You are neglecting yourself and your own happiness. And the person whose happiness you should be mostly concerned about, the first person, is your own. The rest of us, we don't care, man. Test me on this. Don't trust me. Test me on this. Drop dead tomorrow and see if we cared. If we cared about you in your life. Do that, and see. I tell you, by the end of the funeral service. In fact, while we are there in your funeral services, if we do decide to come, we'll be making appointments. We'll be thinking about the things that we want to do with our lives. While we are there in the funeral, we'll be thinking about what are we going to eat. We'll be thinking about the plans or the parties that we want to go. We will be thinking about our own selves and what's going to make us happy. While you've dropped dead because you were doing things you wanted to make us happy with, man. So yeah, I don't care. Make sure don't burn yourself out for likes, comments, and virality on social media. Number 2, do not sacrifice the happiness of yourself and the people who really do matter and do care about you so that you would get popular on social media, man. You wouldn't care. Just test me on this. Drop dead right now and see if we cared or missed you. We won't care about you and we won't miss you. But the problem is that you think the problem with social media, in fact, the problem with social media and social media addiction is that it makes you think that the likes, the comments, and the shares that you are getting or the views that you are getting, the problem with that addiction is that it makes you think that we care about you and your life. And the truth of the matter is we don't care about you and your life, man. We just care about the entertainment that you gave us, the distraction that you gave us. So make sure, whatever it is that you are doing or you are going to attempt to do, Don't sacrifice your own happiness for virality, so likes, comments, views, and all those other nonsense. That's number one. Number two, don't sacrifice the happiness of the people that love and care for you the most for virality, likes, comments, or whatever the views might be. Don't sacrifice their happiness. Number one, you start with your own, then you get to the people that you love and care for the most. And number three, privacy. Hey, there's dignity in privacy, ladies and gentlemen. There is dignity in privacy. It's not everything that's happening in your life that needs to go on social media. Like I said, we don't care. We don't care. What I've realized lately, and as a cybersecurity expert, cybersecurity is increasing. Cybercrime, it's increasing so much. People are stealing social media accounts, trying to get money. People are stealing people. Cybercrime has gone so high with the pan. People are going through hardships, man. And they are looking for the easiest and the fastest way to make a quick buck. And mark my words, if there's no privacy in your life, if everyone knows where you stay, if everyone knows where your children go to, I can guarantee you, most people, if someone wanted to destroy your life, if someone wanted to destroy you or your family, they don't need to go far, man. They just go on your social media because there's everything that they need. If someone wanted to kill you, everything is there on social media. There is no privacy. There's no privacy. We all know what you are doing with your wife, with your husband, with your we know what you are doing. We know which restaurants you go to. We know what you are doing for your wives. We know when is your birthdays. We know the special moments in your life. So if you wanted, if criminals want to hack you, they've got all the ammunition that they need on social media. That's why most people get taken down because of social media. Because that's where everything about you is. Everything about your family and everything about you is there on social media. There's dignity in privacy. The last thing that we have today, it's privacy, man. To live a life where people don't know, or they don't know what's really important to you. Yes, this pissed me off. This pissed me off. I've got this family friend. It's not a family friend. This person I'm familiar with. Yeah, that's the right word. This person that I'm familiar with. This family has got children. Small children. Small children. Not even 2 or 3 years old. But they've already got social media accounts. Why? What? For which purpose? The child some of them can't even talk. They can't even walk. They can't even speak. Why do they have social media accounts? It's not because of the children. It's because of the parents. The parents are addicted to social media. They are addicted to likes and comments, views, that they are willing to use their children. Yeah, they are willing to use their children to feed their own addiction. Imagine being too addicted to likes and comments that you are going to use your child, a small child who has got no concept of social media. You are going to use them to feed your addiction. Then when they grow up and they look at these social media presence that you've created them, when they encounter this mental health challenges and problems, realizing that they've been living their lives to feed the algorithms, to make people happy. They've lived their lives to make you happy. They've lived their lives to make algorithms and other people happy. And now they are struggling with clinic depression and on all these mental health issues that they will be suffering and battling with. Only to realize that the cause of that problem is that you never gave them the privacy that they needed as children. Children have got no concept of a like or a comment. But the problem is that the parent is so addicted. The parent is so addicted to likes, comments, and views that they are willing to use their children, to get those views and these comments. And in conclusion, and this was a harsh reality clap, I think, if the parent learned. I was told of this story where this parent or these parents, they are living their life so much. It's a show. I forgot where is the show coming from. But these parents, I can bet you it must be in America. Hey, it must be in America. Where these parents are living, or they've created their family lives, their children's lives, based on likes, comments, and views. Just imagine. A small child, they are already living their lives so that their parents can get view, because they can feel, what's my game? That pissed me off. That a small child. Now, these children are 10, 13, and they've spent the past 13 or 15 years of their life living to feed their parents' addiction to social media. Now, these children hate the lives that they are living. These children are suffering with all mental illness issues. They hate the lives that their parents have created for them. That you are always on social media. You don't even have time to spend with your children, because the time that you are spending with your children is not to spend time with your children. The time that you are spending with your children while they are playing or whatever, it's for you that you can capture footage, paste on TikTok or YouTube or whatever the social media might be. So even in your presence, it's in your absence, because you are doing content. Everything that you are supposed to be doing, being present as a father, everything that you are supposed to be doing, being present as a mother, as a sister, as a brother, you are not even present, because you are so concerned about the likes and the comments and the views that you'll be getting, that you are not even thinking about the children. You are not even thinking about the quality time, the quality of the time that you are spending with your children. And when these children were interviewed, they said, we wish that we could go off social media, because we can't even enjoy the clothes that we are wearing, because the clothes that we are being bought, it's for social media. We don't even enjoy the food that we are eating, because the food that we are eating is for social media. We don't even enjoy the life that we are living, because it's not for us, it's for social media. There's dignity in privacy. So yeah, thank you for tuning into this podcast. Or maybe even rant, whatever you might call it. I don't care what you call it, man. The key thing is that my children, one day, when they log into this podcast, when they find themselves trapped in this cycle where they are doing things for likes and comments, they'll be like, my great-grandfather was right, man. So thank you for tuning in. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you had a great time with my rant and in my rant, and I look forward to many of these rants. Yeah, I'm going to have more rants like this, but as well as we are going to talk about monetizing. How do you monetize your purpose? But sometimes I'm going to do things that you might not like, and frankly, I don't care, as long as it makes me happy. As long as it makes me happy. And one day, if my grandchild, my grandson, or whoever the generation might be, when they look into this podcast and they say, wow, we are thankful that in 2022, when my father did this podcast, it's really helping me live a better and richer life. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk next time.